All right, and we are live. Hi, Sia.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sia is one of my clients. Sia, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you found me, and maybe just how you found out about these sessions that I offer?
Yeah, so I 33 years old, live in New York. I like everything else I find in my life, I found Rena on Instagram. And so I've always had an interest in astrology, healing, alternative, all things metaphysical, let's say. And so I found her Instagram. I didn't really know much about what she does, or it was kind of my first time seeing it. And for a long time I thought hypnosis was sort of like what you see at the carnivals when people start like barking like a dog. So that was interesting, and over time you've posted more and more. Like, I think you do a good job of educating a lot of people about what this kind of healing is. And so I thought, I think I may have seen one, and it really just resonated with me. It was like a mini clip of a session, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna try this out."
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I'm also very curious about all these things, so the 2 together made me reach out.
Awesome. Yeah, and gosh, I know it's been a year. Like, I think we did it November, or not a
Okay.
year, but we did it November of last year, from what I remember. So, fall of last year. So, it's been quite a while. Um, prior to doing this session, do you kind of remember what state you were in and what kind of made you want, besides curiosity, what made you kind of want to do this session? Or was it
Um,
just sheer curiosity, would you say?
I think curiosity was one part of it, but I do think that I know that I had some, deeper rooted challenges, problems, I don't know the right word, that I wasn't really resolving through other means. And so I thought this was a good way to like tap into the subconscious and try to explore another sort of solution.
Yeah. And we sort of did, and Sia's uh session was really private. I've never posted it, and I won't, because a lot of it had to do with family issues and childhood issues that kind of seeped into adulthood. And so we're not going to spend too much time talking about it, but would you say that you got some sense of healing and benefit from the session when it came to your family or childhood memories or issues?
Yeah, so when I left the session, I didn't feel this pivotal shift like immediately after that day, that maybe even that week. And I think I was waiting to feel this like burst of new consciousness or something. I don't know. But I think when I was put in that position and some scenarios reoccurred, or something that kind of would have normally maybe triggered me or my emotion, with intensity, I saw a shift in how I was maybe taking it all in, taking in the scenario, taking in the energy, and it was more, like I like to say, it was more almost like watching it on TV than taking it in. And so, there are still moments where it's upsetting, but not. I think I was getting because it was a deep wound. I think it was just the pain felt intense. And so I think I'm able to, I don't want to say disassociate from it, but kind of remove the emotion.
Navigate sort of in a
Yeah.
different way and maybe
Yeah.
respond differently, because
Yeah.
I think one of the things was boundaries and maybe not letting it be all consuming, like you had said
Yep.
earlier when we chatted. So
Mhm.
do you feel like you've kind of, um in terms of handling these situations with family or what have you, it's more a positive approach to it?
I don't know. I don't know. So again, there are still moments where things are hard, intense, and upsetting, but I think it's
Yeah.
the way I'm taking it in, and I'm not allowing it to shift, like, my energy or wound me even more. I don't know. I don't have enough perspective, I guess, to say, am I being more positive? I probably could do better, you know? I'd like to think I am, but I still think it'll take some time.
Sure. Yeah. But the session itself, it did help you maybe become more aware, would you say
Yeah,
then?
I
Okay.
definitely would say it took me experiencing some of these scenarios, but I definitely say I've experienced a shift in consciousness by being, like, in it and a part of the pain or the trauma or the chaos or, whatever it is in that scenario, sort of removing myself from it. I can see it. It's sad and it makes me sad, but
But
it's not that feeling is not moving through me in the same way as it was. It was almost paralyzing, right? Like
yeah,
I wouldn't want to talk to people for days, and I
yeah,
wouldn't. It was it was so. I think that's another thing I have. Um, I saw a difference in is I was also able to move on from it quickly instead of like retreating inward for a period of time. And I think that's because I'm not taking it in, right? But it was
yeah,
just another observation that ties back to our reading.
yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you received the benefit in that regard. Um, and then just I wanted to ask you a few more questions before we wrap up.
Mhm.
And one was when you were actually in the moment and I've got you under hypnosis and in trance, and you would go back to, I think you had a experience when you were a child, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about it, but you were in a basement or something. And how did it feel? Did you actually feel like you were there? Did you want to elaborate on that or?
Yeah, I think it was a memory. I think it was a combination of a memory and a representation of how I maybe still felt at times. And it's a little personal, so I'm not going to get into
Yeah,
too much detail, but it just represented a challenging, sad, hard time. Um, and I felt like I was back. I remember that vividly. I know when we spoke, there were some things I couldn't remember, but that was something I remembered vividly. But it was I almost still remember that so clearly.
yeah,
Um, and so I thought it was very strange because it was so long ago. So it was
yeah,
weird to just be taken,
right
to a
there.
place with so much emotion almost.
And was it a surprise? Did you surprise yourself by going there? Do you think? Like,
Uh,
had you thought about that memory prior?
I don't think so.
So it was new. Well, not new, but it was something that you didn't even expect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something I don't know, I would have remembered. I don't
Yeah,
think I don't have any memory of remembering it before.
yeah. And that's the beauty of hypnosis. We tap into the subconscious mind, and we can tap into repressed memories, something that you haven't thought of. And I believe you were 5 or 6 years old or 7. I can't
Yeah.
quite remember now, but you were very young.
Yeah.
And you said, and I remember you describing that memory so vividly. You remembered exactly where you were, and you said you were by your storage. So that was just, I just wanted to bring that up. And the other question I wanted to ask you was, did you find that near the tail end, we did connect with a spirit guide, I believe, who was giving you all this advice, I think career advice, relationship advice. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How did that make you feel, and was that surprising?
Um, I think it was surprising that I had that ability to receive that
Mm,
message.
yeah,
I do remember feeling like it was a male energy, and I didn't really know what it was. I think it kind of took you translating to explain, okay, this is like a spirit guide. But I I would say it was comforting.
yeah, yeah. And how did you? it was just a feeling you had that it was a male energy opposed to
Yeah,
female energy? Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know how to, there's nothing, it's just an instinct.
It was just a feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
Like an intuitive feeling, I think. And I think we had also asked that energy if there were deceased loved ones around you, and it said right now you've got protective energy around you. Do you remember that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's pretty well it. Thank you so much, Sia, for just having this conversation with me and
Yeah,
sort
of
of
course.
educating everybody out there. Do you want to let people know a little bit about what you're doing, if you've got any projects on the go and anything
Uh,
you want to market
um,
out there? Or
sure. So I prematurely will market. I work in banking, bank marketing, which is great. Love my job. And I've had a little bit of an itch for a more creative outlet. So I'm working on something that I think represents me, right? And I think many people who maybe were born into immigrant families can relate. Like you grow up in one culture with a very strong influence of another culture, and oftentimes we feel like we're balancing where we're two people and we're picking, but like we are creating our own culture. Like our generation is
absolutely,
it we are the fusion of two things, and it's probably I would argue better than both, right?
I
Um
agree. It's like the best
so
of
I'm
both
working on
worlds.
that. Yeah, it'll I have a few ideas in how it'll manifest itself. I just launched the Instagram page a couple 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So stay tuned. This is gonna be
Sure.
super more pressure to get it going.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'll link it up, or you can send me some work or what have you, and I'll post Sia's stuff on my page.
Oh,
But I
cool.
just
Thank you.
wanted to say, just before we wrap up, thank you so much. And would you recommend this healing by hypnosis by me? Did you feel safe? Did you feel comfortable when
Yeah,
and we did this session online too. So
yeah. So I mean I did feel a sense of comfort with you. I thought I was like, this is really weird because I've never met Rena in my life, but I'm telling her these really things that are really hard to talk about. So I think I found you really easy to talk to. I think you were a great listener. I think you were receptive. And some things are hard to talk about. I know I trip up on my words, and so you
yeah,
understood what I was trying to say. I would definitely recommend it. I think anyone I think many of us deal with the same version of a problem over and over again. This, I think,
yeah,
helps dive into the root. I think I would do it again,
yeah,
like after some time has passed, because
absolutely.
I think this is an ongoing, just like exercise, right? You have to keep doing it. I will say it's hard, it's heavy, and it's
Yeah,
beautiful and it's beneficial. But that's how we make progress, right? And so it's necessary.
absolutely. That was beautifully said, Tia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody soon. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.